All right, so we'll do a highlight video breakdown here on our ATS YouTube page of game 143-144, Texas A&M and Alabama. Alabama, 18-point favorite. That's the predominant number out there as we're recording here on Thursday, late morning, early afternoon, Eastern time. Total on this game, 51.5. And I encourage everyone to listen to the full editions of ATS Radio because this game is a good segue of what we just talked about, handicapping coaching. Handicapping the differences between the coaches. And I think when you look at Texas A&M, and I saw this criticism a lot last week, a lot of people like the personnel for Texas A&M in College Station. They like what they're building in terms of the roster. They don't like how Jimbo Fisher is maximizing it. And you better maximize your talent when you take on Alabama.
Yeah, you do. And look, I was also part of that, pro Texas A&M, at least prior to everything that's gone on as far as COVID. But if I were to circle what's your dark horse national title contender, it would have been Texas A&M. The problem is not only what happened in the game against Vanderbilt last week, which I thought was a horrific look and is being overlooked a little bit in the national media because LSU lost and Oklahoma lost. I mean, to me, the more stunning result would have been A&M losing that game to Vanderbilt. But the team just didn't have a lot of juice in that opener. Maybe some of it was expected because Alabama's on deck, or maybe because, and this is my biggest concern with A&M right now, is they lost 4 key projected starters, including their leading receiver, one of their best tacklers, a linebacker in the middle, just opted out. And among a lot of these contending teams in college football, if you look at the top 10, 15 contending teams, there weren't a lot of opt-outs. I mean, certainly there was in the Pac-12 and those, schools where the teams weren't going to play this season. That's understandable. But if you look at the contenders in the SEC, the ACC and whatnot, not a lot of opt-outs. A&M had some opt-outs. To me, what's going on in that program? A team that's expected to at least make a run for it this year, and they're opting out, that's not a good look. And what also isn't a good look here, Adam, is former Nick Saban assistants against Nick Saban. Nick Saban's never lost against a former assistant. He's 19-0.
Yeah, and he's probably not going to lose this week, certainly as the line would imply. The thing for Texas A&M is this, and this has been a problem for Jimbo Fisher dating back to Florida State, and it was one of the things that really helped lead, I would say, to Florida State's, I'm going to call it a demise, as a national power program. The offensive line play has not been good. Yep. It has not been good under Jimbo Fisher, regardless of which team he's been coaching for the last several years. And again, if there is one thing that you can ill afford to have against Alabama, it's a bad offensive line because they will eat you alive. So my power ratings on this game are actually a little bit lower than what the market has. I think there could be a slight overreaction to A&M's performance against Vanderbilt, maybe trying not to show anything, stuff like that. But the reason why power ratings can't be a be-all, end-all, despite how much we talk about them here, is that the matchup still matters. And the matchup for A&M here in this game does not look good. It's that simple to me.
It is. And similar to you, power ratings say A&M's the play here. 15 is where I have it. But not only the matchups worry me, but the mindset of Alabama. I don't know if you've heard Saban talk. He is pissed off what happened in that final 10 minutes of the Missouri game last week. Saban usually slows things down. He has a history of doing that the last 10 years. There's a few years there where he had 2 capable quarterbacks with Hurts and Tagovailoa. That it didn't matter what he was doing offensively; they were just scoring. I think this week, if he has an opportunity to put one on Jimbo, there's going to be no let up on defense or offense. So again, I could only bet Alabama, even though my numbers disagree with it.
Yeah, I got this one 15.5. So, it opened, the global opener at Circa was 13.5, I think.
I didn't get it. I mean, I didn't even get it. Within 2 minutes, it was down further on the card. I didn't grab it. So that shows you even a guy like me couldn't even get that 13.
But still, I guess what I'm saying here is that, you and I fall between the opening number and where the number sits now. And again, I think that there are just matchup advantages for Alabama here. I will say this, and it's not just because you and I have lower numbers, but just simply that this is a pretty big number now. I don't know if there's a great opportunity to bet pre-flop on this game. But I think this is a game, much like what we talked about last week when we discussed live betting. If you see that Alabama is doing what they want and A&M can't protect the quarterback, Alabama live is your play here.
Yep, totally agree. Again, and let me say I can only look towards Alabama right now. I'm not saying that there's value at the current number. I'm just saying my mindset, I don't want, even though my numbers are off 3 points, I don't want anything to do with A&M. And again, I think this might be one where you see more of the same. I mean, I go back to, I'm dating myself, but it's 4 or 5 years ago. There was a game where, I mean, he just put it on A&M like 59-0. I'm not saying it's going to be 59-0 here, but Saban's mindset this week is he's going to want to put one on A&M after what happened against Missouri. So I think live Alabama looks pretty good to me.
Well, no consensus pre-flop on this game, but some good handicapping advice and some handicapping tips here from myself, host Adam Burke, and also professional bettor and handicapper Brad Powers. Subscribe to our ATS YouTube page, and make sure you subscribe to ATS Radio as well, which you can get on Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, wherever you stream and download your podcast content.